shooting yesterday at the Florida school board meeting, the superintendent says that it's his faith and God protected him from being shot. And, you know, even this picture here with them having a circle of prayer and so forth. But I'm just wondering what kind of religion is that he has, that he knows that if he sacrificed himself, that he's going to heaven. I suspect he's talking about heaven. And is he talking about as soon as he's shot, he goes to heaven? Or you understand the theology that you go to the grave and you wait until Christ returns, you resurrect all the righteous ones, and all the wicked ones might be resurrected but will die again. And then he takes those there. I don't know if you understand that Thessalonian theology. However, I believe that if he were that religious, to the extent where he knows that he's going to heaven if he dies, he should have known that in firing that woman, that it could have led to this. God would have told him that because God saw the end from the beginning. He saw this guy can die that way thousands of years ago, even from the beginning of the world. All right, and he would have told him, "Don't fire this lady. Maybe invite her husband and her to a meeting, and maybe hook up with him and take him to your church, or take him out for a lunch and show him a better way. Perhaps that's what God would have told you. I suspect. I mean, if he's that highly religious, almost like, could talk to God and so on. Also, when the guy came into the meeting, he should have discerned that this guy is different from everybody else because he's demonstrating, he's showing it. It's just that he's not perceptive enough or listening to God, I'm suggesting. And then when the guy gets up and mark that V, that's time to clear out there. God didn't tell you that. Also, when the guy pulled the gun out and stuff like that, and you just start reasoning with the guy, you can't reason with the guy when the guy comes to shoot up. That's unpsychological. When in transactional analysis by what's his name, Christian, I read his book so long ago, since '73 when I was in high school. But I think it's Christian Bernard or something like that. He was a part of this series that I'm happy, you're happy. I'm okay, you're okay, and all this stuff. Anyway, he says that the ego is divided up into the parent, adult, and child. And the gunman was talking from his parent to this superintendent's child. And this child, he's talking out from his intellect or from his adult to the guy's adult. So he's crossing that line. You're going to have a problem. But perhaps if he had come back from his child and speak back to the guy's adult, then, to the child's parent, to the gunman's parent, and keep that line going, it might have come out differently. But he crossed the line, the transactional line, and therefore that transaction will cross up and lead to problems. As for example, somebody's shouting, you say, "Open that door," and you can come and start reasoning the person, say, "Don't you think that you should please?" Now you could get this guy irate and bust your chops. You could say, "Okay, I'll open it for you." And when you open the door and that transaction is completed, then you could come back now and you initiate a new transaction by going to the adult. And then if he comes again from his parent to your child, then you realize that it's a waste of time dealing with this guy. He's going to knock you up if you really keep it up. Okay, so he went in the wrong transaction again. So again, then God tell him to speak back to the guy as though he's kind of like, "Poor me, child, the big boy, bad man with a gun." And then when the fella fired a shot, he didn't know the guy can shoot. All these things, I'm asking myself, if he were that religious, he should have perceived, God would tell him all these things. See what I'm saying? So first of all, I think that in sacrifice, putting your life up as a sacrifice for others, I don't know if God told him to do that. If God told him, it's fine. But I think that trying suicide for others and so forth, it's kind of like bizarre, and it's more like God is not speaking to you there, bro. Because you could accomplish more in life than in death. People forget you tomorrow, you get killed there, no problem. After the funeral, we go to something else. But if, even at that time, if you were able to speak to the gunman and get it out of the way, then maybe people will continue thinking about him. And the only way you could have, talked to that gunman and get some results is if he had spoken to the guy. For example, the guy should say, "So you fired my wife, okay?" That's from his parent to your child. You can't talk to the guy in a reasonable way. "Well, she didn't do what we asked." You got to say, "We're sorry to be fired," or "Call her right now. Here's the phone. Call her and she has her job back again. That's talking from your child to the guy parent. And that would have solved the problem perhaps, because I don't think the guy per se was necessarily suicidal straight up, except he knew that his wife wouldn't be hired again, he'd come to kill somebody. So I'm questioning that kind of religiosity, and I'm saying that in this time, the whole purpose of religion is to come to the place where every decision you make, you're in touch with your God, and you're assured from your God that this is the right decision to make. And it looks to me that all the decisions he's made, all were wrong. So there goes that religion stuff. But you know what? I recall people talking about the religion so much. Um, I was traveling from Florida, from Michigan to Florida in 95, 96. And I stopped by the mission in Tennessee. I left my bag with my camera with this guy who's Christian, religious boy. Next thing, they stole my camera. Nice camera with a zoom lens that I could bring in things. It's like a 28 200. Gone. Then in Florida, in about '04 or something like that, this guy, he has this car dealership name. This is God's Men's Car Dealership. So I said, okay, and deal straight. He says, this car here, in the morning, it gives a little smoke, a little tinge of smoke, by it's cold and not warmed up yet. That's a major engine problem we're talking about there. It's using oil. I bought it, and they say, I'll trade in anything. Then when I signed the paperwork, then he say, hey man, can't you get your vehicle sold somewhere else? So I had two vehicles. You know what I mean? They weren't, all were 8 to 9s. Okay. I didn't want to fix mine up, so I felt that it's cheaper to get the next one and so on. But I ended up with more problems. Okay. So please, when you have all this religion stuff, man, I don't want you to bring it telling me that, oh, I'm a godly man, let us do some business. Let your religion be felt and seen by treating people right. The engine is bad, you don't buy it and you don't try to sell it, or you tell the man this is using oil. And if you're to have that sale, God will sell it to a mechanic who could fix it, or who will say, well, I just need something to go to California, then I'm just get rid of it or whatever. So that's what religion is about. It's not about telling me, oh my God, save me from being shot out here. It's like you could have solved this whole problem by don't fire the woman. All you decide that you can cut back your wage, each person, 500 there, 500 there, and then we get her still working if it's an economic thing. Bring him in and have a discussion so that you could meet him, and perhaps you wouldn't have had the same problem. And then your friend came and smacked him with a bag. Suppose this guy had shot her, or that had gotten him irate and he started shooting everybody. You know what I mean? Now it didn't happen, and she might say, God, this is what God told her to do. I don't think so. I think that God would tell her to stay in the back room, knowing that this guy would shoot for real, and so on. So I don't know. I mean, maybe God and the angels protected him from being shot, but also the devil could protect you so that at least give you another chance so you could keep talking and feel safe in that religion you're in. You know what I mean? And people want to join that. I like your religion, bro. Let me come and join where you at. And then, so Satan could be doing that also, okay?